You're listening to Punisher Waterfowls, the Union 0430 podcast. Brought to you by Real Geese Decoys, the most technologically advanced silhouette decoy on the market. First Light, the best hunting gear on the planet. Go farther, stay longer. And Ducklander Calls, tradition, education, and quality. Built to hunt.
Hey everybody, welcome back to the Union 0430 podcast, episode 188, and can't throw down the gauntlet because it's all tied up again. Brian Ellithorpe, Jeff Coates. I don't know. I'm going to get the both of yous on, I think. I think that's the next, just to totally throw a fuck into everything. Just put the both of them on and let them duke it out on who's the best. What do you think, Billy?
No. We'll talk big water, but that's about it. Not duking nothing out.
Yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for tuning back in. Please check out our sponsors, Real Geese Silhouette Decoys, the most technologically advanced silhouette decoys on the market. I do not do that justice like what Jeff does. Ducklander Calls and First Light Hunting. And of course, as we've alluded to twice in this already 30-second intro, the voice of the Union 0430, Captain Jeff Coates. Please go check them out. They're just amazing people who've been with us, supporting us right from pretty much day one. So go show them some love and let them know that you heard about them from the Union 0430 podcast. Mark is somewhere on the eastern seaboard. The last we seen, he was in Norfolk, Virginia. Have no idea where he is right now. But Mark, I know you're having fun. We got
and
Philly.
He's been to Molly's.
And he did get a trip into Molly's, but there was no, hey, Chickie, I have no idea if you listen to this show, but I know Jeff is going to listen to this show. So, Jeff, you can snip this out and send it to Chickie, but there was no Jeff Coates Pit Boss Waterfowl paraphernalia at Molly's when Mark came through. So, we got to get that fixed up for the millions of fans that go through Molly's and want to get a "Thinking of You We Are" t-shirt, or as Philly is in the year 2 still waiting for his Molly's cup.
I want a Molly's cup.
He's still been waiting for one. I'm gonna get you a Molly's cup, buddy. I promise you.
You're a sweetheart.
I will. I'll get you a Molly's cup. Craig is with us all the way from Wabashine, Ontario. Philly's up in Port Perry, and coming to us from Ohio, right on the banks of Lake Erie. We should get you a jacket, like on Saturday Night Live when they do the 5-timers club and the 6-timers club. We should get you a jacket, Brian.
Or like the Masters.
Or
I've played a lot of golf. That would be fitting.
Are you good?
No.
Well, he's thinking about it, so he didn't throw out the no right off the bat. So he must be average.
Playing since I was like 8.
Oh, really?
Yeah, my dad.
You're probably like Bobby Hayes.
I don't know. I played 3 years varsity in high school and was going to play in college, but the couple places that I got offers to didn't have engineering schools, so I didn't end up going. But I haven't played much. I still play probably a few times a year, but
yeah, so you're way better than any of us here.
I don't know.
Ultimate. Yeah,
find out.
Fucking guarantee. I guarantee you are. But that's like Bobby Hayes. Like Bobby Hayes, I guess he's a fucking really good golfer because his old man on Sunday, that was the thing. His old man would take him golfing on Sunday.
Oh, really?
Every fucking Sunday they went golfing. So I guess Bobby's a bit of a golfer too.
Okay.
Yeah,
I cut grass.
Ed Wall, the photographer, is like a real good. He was
really,
like a pro-am golfer. I had no idea.
Really, I follow him. He's pretty good, eh?
Oh,
he's all right, Ed Wall.
Ed Wall.
He's all right. He's okay at taking pictures.
He's okay.
Man's been known to rock a point and shoot pretty decent.
Yeah. Apparently he can hit a golf ball pretty well too.
Really, eh?
Yeah.
Well, like if you think, here we go down the fucking rabbit hole, right? But you think about it, like you think about some of the names that like look at Tony Vandermoor. Like Tony Vandermoor was a pro ball player.
Right. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like there's some dudes in this world that's got a pretty crazy background. Like
Yeah.
JJ Gustafson with Heyday, formerly Lifetime Decoys.
Asher Tolliver with Dive Bomb. He played
Yeah.
ball, pretty
Yeah,
sure.
well, JJ played for the Aggies. He played Aggies football for Texas A&M.
Okay.
So there's some dudes around that.
Hey,
Wow.
Phil Robertson.
Hey, Phil Robertson. Yeah, when you let Terry, you can go ahead. I'm gonna stick to making duck calls.
Yeah.
It worked out pretty well for him.
Yeah, it worked out pretty well for him. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the Union 0430. And you know what? It's good. Like we've had some great guests over the last couple weeks. And we've done some shows where it's been just us and not had some guests, and then we've had some guests and we've had some great episodes and stuff. Um, and not taking anything away, but it's nice to sit down with people that you already have a relationship with, right? Because you don't know sometimes, right? Like sometimes you bring a guest on, you don't know what, like, are they do they want to be on the show, or are they just doing it because they sort of kind of have to, because that's their job? They've got to help grow the brand. But like we've had some, like we had
Sorry, don't mind me. I forgot to actually plug the laptop in. Just going down here for a second.
one job, Craig. Phil, that was your opportunity
There
to
we
jump
go.
in there. That was your
One
opportunity.
job.
One job. Like we had Ben Marlowe, and we had Jesus, the guy's name from Show Me Ducks, Kyle Smock. We had him on. We've had some great guests on, but Brian, it is good to get you back on, because it's good to just be able to sit down and shoot the shit. We know one another, pick one another's brain. We chat fairly often, so it's good, right?
Yeah.
Um,
I enjoy coming on here. This is always a lot of fun. So thank you.
Well, and I appreciate it, because it was what 10:30 last night when I sent you the message. Like I don't know how many times over the last well, now it's like 72 hours that I was like, fuck, I got to message Brian and see if he can come on the show. And I'd forget. And then last night I was like, Jesus, I'll do it now. I'll
It's
send
all good.
Brian a message. And then you didn't answer last night. I was like, oh, fuck, where's Brian? But you were in Colorado.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was doing real job stuff, which wasn't as much fun.
Eh,
But the
I know.
Rockies are cool. It's nice to
Yeah,
go.
I bet.
Yeah.
I bet.
Yeah.
Um, I wanted to kick off the show, and we sort of talked about it with Ed Wall there, but I wanted to talk about it. And Craig, I don't know what your experience is with photography and videography in the outdoors and stuff, but I know what mine is, and I'm horrible at it. Um,
I'm trying to get into it. Like Carrie bought me a camera a couple years ago on my birthday,
yeah.
and then sent me to a part-time course at Georgian College,
Oh
just
yeah.
in Barrie. So like I did that last year, and now it's just a matter of getting the bigger
Sometime.
lens that I need to
Oh,
really play
You
around
need
better.
need to apply your knowledge.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I've been
wow.
playing around with the smaller lenses I've got, but I need that big
Right.
one for doing birds and stuff like that, right?
Right.
Oh yeah, I guess I got mine sitting back there right now.
Yeah, I thought that was a rifle case, but that's his lens.
Super duper telephoto zoom.
Well,
Yeah.
I did see a thing on Instagram the other day, and it was obviously for a group of professional photographers, and they had been at I think it was a Sony convention,
Okay.
and it was like, if you could picture 26-foot tables, and all on those tables were these fucking lenses like this here, and the
Yeah.
guy was like, I can't even imagine how much money in lenses is right here. And the fellows could, so they obviously brought their own cameras, but they could go pick up a lens, try it out, snap some pictures in and around. They had some stuff set up there. And I
Generally, they've
remember,
got that for like YouTubers, like big like
oh yeah,
photography or videography YouTubers will go to these big. It's like a media thing,
yeah.
and if they've got new lenses or new bodies or something, they'll just line that stuff up, and you can just grab whatever.
Crazy. But I've heard you and I've heard Phil say, and I've heard Mark say, I've heard a lot of people say it. Like you buy your body, but then the money is the glass, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, like
Well,
that.
because I mean, you can get, if you have one body, you might want 8 different lenses. If those lenses cost $1,000 and your body costs 1,500, then
Yeah.
you're 10 times more into your lenses than you are your body.
But so I wanted to go down this rabbit hole of photography and videography because I was watching a sort of a marketing video the other night, and it was geared around, I would say it was geared around brands like, it was geared for brands like Punisher Waterfowl, because you're trying to grow a brand and you're trying to get likes and follows and people to be commenting and sharing your videos and all your posts, right? And the guy that was doing it said something along the lines, he was like, um, Red Bull has 14 million followers. And he was like, and why do you think Red Bull has 14 million followers? And I was like, crickets over the crowd, right?
Does they pay
And
for them?
no, he said because every fucking video that Red Bull puts out, it's entertainment. Because it is that shock and awe, like that's
Oh, hey,
fucking nuts, right?
it gives you wings, right?
Yeah, but it got me thinking. I was like, okay, so just doing a video of, I done a video of some stuff that was given to me about a week ago. And after I heard that, I was like, what a fucking boring video that was that I done. Like really, like what's the entertainment value in seeing a video of me opening a box with some stuff into it? Like there's really not a lot of entertainment value in it. So then I started to think, I was like, well, if I want this brand to grow, how do I entertain people so that they're going to want to share it or want to keep coming back? So then that's why I was thinking, I was like, well, fuck, you do it. It's not your full-time gig, Brian or Phil, but both of you do it on the part time, and you've got your gigs to do it, and you get, compensated for it. But I really wanted to dig into, how do you set this up? Like, like sit at home and come up with your plan before you go out? I really wanted to start digging into this because you're seeing more and more, Craig, sort of kind of what you were talking about, like Kerry bought you a camera and now you've got to learn it. We're seeing a ton of people on social media taking pictures, especially in the waterfowl world, videos, pictures, showing whatever. We're seeing more and more every day. And I just thought it'd be a cool topic to talk about tonight.
I don't know if it's the same for Phil, but like for me with Tangle Free, when I started working with them, they gave me things that they needed covered. And since I do
Right.
divers, I think I'm probably the only one on the payroll, I would even
Right.
say,
Yeah.
that targets divers regularly.
Okay.
So like they picked, when we did all of our submissions this year, they picked all of my diver decoy, all of my diver hunting stuff for marketing. And I know that that was when I talked to them initially, that was something that they really wanted. So that was something that, like, when I would go out, I would really focus on that. But then
Right.
they would always want like dogs. Everybody wants dogs
Of
because that
course.
is like
Well,
uh,
and that's some of your B-roll footage too, right?
right. But
Yeah.
also like just in this realm of waterfowl, like when you're talking about Red Bull, they are involved in so many different things. So
Right.
their crowd and their impressions it's the whole world.
Oh
Hmm.
yeah,
Some point,
they're an international organization.
Of
yeah,
course.
and at some
Yeah.
point they hit on some sport or some hobby that everybody likes in one facet or the other. They do
And it's
airplanes,
extreme, right?
racing. Yeah, yeah, it's all extreme sports.
Yeah.
It's everything. In
Yeah.
some fashion, they hit it in one way or another. And in waterfowl, the biggest draw for all of us is the dogs. Whether you have a dog or not, you're always intrigued by
Yeah.
those photos.
Yeah,
Dog,
dogs are going to appeal to absolutely everybody all the time, right?
Mhm.
exactly. So
Yep.
like you can never go wrong taking dog photos, but then you're also looking at like specific brand photos. Like I've been sitting like when we were filming with Sean and I'd be sitting in the blind, it was like his Phil would be holding a box of Winchester shells and I'd just turn my camera, snap a few pictures, and it's like that's what Winchester wants to see.
Right.
So it makes it easy, if you as long as you just kind of keep your head on a swivel and just kind of I want to say like focus on like the creative stuff that you can see.
That's a good point. Like, do you even bring your shotgun with you when you go on these trips? Or are you there, like in your brain, you're there to take pictures and not shoot birds?
Well, so I accidentally brought my gun for the first trip, which was fun because we went to Canada. And so I was like, I went to
I'm bringing my fucking gun. Yeah.
well, I had it in there because I hunted on, I don't remember what it was, Tuesday, and then I left Wednesday, or I hunted Monday and we left Tuesday, whatever it was.
Yeah.
And I had everything in the back of my truck and my waders were in there, and I knew that I was going to need them because we were hunting um, Saginaw Bay in Michigan. So
Yep.
I knew I need my waders, and I just left them in there, but I forgot to take my gun out. And so when we took my waders out in Saginaw Bay, we were leaving straight from Saginaw Bay to Canada.
Yeah.
Happened to see my gun case in there, and Sean said something about like guns, and they were putting them in the trailer, and I was like, oh shit. And I'm like, hey, I have my gun. And he's like, oh, you'll just have to, you know,
Yeah.
pay for whatever. He's like, we'll pay for it or whatever. I just had to check it in at the border. It
Okay.
was super easy. But like to answer your question, I go with the mindset that I'm filming and taking photos, but then if they all shoot their limit, then I would get to shoot. Like when we were in Minnesota, we were in a pond hunting and we were one bird away from those guys' limits. And then I was going to get a gun and shoot my 5, and the birds shut right off. We got nothing else after that.
Of course.
Never
Yeah, Sean's
fails.
like, I'll take the camera and then you just take my gun. And I'm like, all right, that's fine. But yeah, but I mean, the whole time I was there, I get more enjoyment out of like, I don't always have to shoot.
Right.
Like I like being just sitting there and having my camera in my hand. It's just as cool. It's kind of like after the season's over and you go out and take photos of birds. It's like you still get that same excitement even though you're not shooting. And Phil, I
Mhm.
don't know if it's the same way with you, but like
No.
I I like shooting a camera just as much as I like shooting a gun.
Yeah. So Phil, so that's great, Brian, and for, tangle free and then hanging out with Sean, because obviously Sean has a hockey sock full of things that he needs to accomplish on every one of his trips, right? So it's
Yeah.
easy for him. But then for you, Phil, like you're doing stuff for Benelli Canada and Kent Canada. So is it
Yeah.
the same thing? Like, do they give you a left and right of arc and say we need this, or do they just leave it to you for your
No,
creative
it's
genius?
pretty much a blank canvas. No, like mind you, I kind of keep a, I guess, running list, so to speak, in my head as like things that I want to do
Mm-hmm.
and supply said content to them. It's just about being different, being innovative. I guess I don't know, bit innovative, but like
Yeah,
just kind of
but be different.
standing out, being different stuff. And obviously catering to the different clientele. Now, like I was fortunate to shoot a turkey so far this year. I've only gotten one. And
He hates turkeys, by
unfortunately,
the way.
hmm?
He hates turkeys, by
I
the way.
hate turkeys, these stupid birds. Um, and unfortunately, like I shot my bird, dad didn't get his, so we waited out trying to get another one, and we were on a bit of a time constraint that morning. So like I literally got one photo stage of me like with the bird and couldn't get a bunch of like stage stuff done.
Right.
So now it's like we're down to the wire. Like, well, show gets aired on Monday, but tomorrow's the last day,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm hoping I get a bird tomorrow so I can get some of this stuff done
Oh,
to
right. Yeah.
supply these X, Y, and Z photos. But like, it's been a struggle this season.
Yeah. Well, I
The
guess
struggle is real.
yeah, but I guess that's a good thing to bring up too, though. And this isn't a slag against either one of yous on your content and stuff like that. And by no means that's not what I'm getting at. But like if you look at say Apex ammunition right now, like honestly, I do not know of a better like art in photography in the outdoor world right now than what's happening over in Apex. Like it is just it's off the fucking charts, man. Like this stuff, right? So
It's all Lightroom.
What's that?
It's all Lightroom.
100%. But well, so yes, but it's Lightroom and changing it and editing it. But the only way to get that photo is to be on Mercer's Bay in fucking Alaska, right? Like you're not
Honestly,
getting
like,
that at the slough that you go to down the road in
oh
fucking
yeah, like
Ontario.
location, backdrop, everything is everything. Now, mind you,
Right.
I find being on both ends of the spectrum, like running hunts and being like a guest on hunts, if you're a guest on a hunt and like you're not there like photography purposes, but like you're there to hunt with your buddies,
Yeah.
running the camera is 10 times easier as a guest than if it's your hunt.
What
Because like you're
explain that. I'm not
well, like
getting that.
say I'm putting on a hunt, right? I'm a couple buddies, it's my field, my spread,
Oh,
whatever.
okay.
Like
Yeah.
you're running around busier than a two-peckered billy goat, trying to get stuff done, looking for birds, calling for birds, running the show. That's not you don't have time to touch a camera.
Right.
Whereas like if you're taking me out,
Yeah.
all the heat's on you.
Right.
I just
Okay.
I
Yeah.
snap
That makes
photos.
sense.
Here comes birds. You pitch the camera into a pile of mud or cow patty.
Or I guess if you are
And you-
running the hunt and you do get pictures, how many of them are any good, right? You don't have time to worry about your settings and
Yeah,
all that too.
it's so hard. But like again, in Brian's case, like if you're on a hunt for the sole purpose of smashing the button, fucking have at her.
Yeah, I mean, like even this year, when we were like when I was hunting, and I'd say most of the time that we hunt here, it's something that I'm orchestrating. My
Yeah.
boat, my decoys, my blinds, my dog, all that stuff. I would say in the 2 weeks that I was just fully focused on shooting video and photo, like I probably took 2,000 photos in 2 weeks,
Yeah.
maybe more. I was focused on video, but I was also doing photos when I could. I probably took 300 pictures on my own hunts all season.
Yep.
Because it's just, depending on where I'm at. Like if I'm sitting in a kayak by myself, I'm not going to have my big SKB waterproof case sitting in between my legs with my 150 to 600 on it, trying to shoot pictures. Or if I might have one of my crop sensor cameras in my pocket, like in my wader pocket, just to get like a picture of my dog getting out of the water or something. But it's not going to be like the really nice photos that I want to set up because I'm also scrambling to hunt. Like it's tough. It's the same thing with like the YouTube stuff. Like I would love to have much better production quality of cameras and all that kind of stuff, but I'm hunting. My best bet is a GoPro.
Yeah.
So like that's what makes it possible for me to capture that stuff. And it's not to the highest quality that I'd like, but it works.
So
So
another thing that I don't know. So we live in this world today, right? Where, hey, listen, if Damian Pittman can create a brand, then anybody else in the fucking world can create a brand, right? Like that's the world we live in. If you're willing to put in the work, but I think, when and this applies to me specifically, but for anybody that's looking to get into this world industry, whatever friggin' word you want to call it, you know, if you're comparing, just like what you're saying there, Brian, like if you're comparing um Heartland Waterfowl's video and you're like, that's what I want to do. Well, listen, you can't do that by yourself. Like they have a crew of dudes.
Right.
So like Heartland Waterfowl shoots in the morning, and by the evening they have the video edited and it's up on YouTube, right? Like there's dudes as they're driving back from a hunt, there's dudes in the back of the truck that's editing right there. Do you know
Right.
what I
Well,
mean?
you look at the boys at Daybreak,
Yeah,
the stuff that they put
Yeah.
like, and if you watch enough of the videos, you'll see some of like the, like the chat outside of the hunts and stuff, and like the boys, I think it's Brandon, like he's sitting there, he's got 2 mega monitors in his
yeah,
background,
yeah,
and like they're trying to piece together video and stuff. And again, same with K Zone with Josh and the boys. Josh being a semi-pro ball player as well. To go with our earlier conversation.
Yeah.
But like these guys are like two big honking like computer screens, and yeah, it's not like us trying to like smash like 7 seconds of video on our cell phone for a reel, and you're trying to like figure out how to put two clips together.
Right.
Like these boys are switched on and legit.
yeah. But
One
then
thing I
you,
like, I like
yeah,
seeing the variety too, like and seeing that, yeah, okay, there's a smaller guy that's got grainy videos and that, but like you're getting that more realistic type thing, but then getting the ones that are that higher production value, but knowing that that's what they are, right? And like one thing I wanted to touch on was with Phil saying like, okay, he's only got that one bird, only had time to get that one picture. It's like knowing Phil, knowing that that's, a side gig sort of thing. It's like, okay, I know Phil only got one bird and I've only seen one picture sort of thing. Whereas some people, they've only gotten one bird, but they have pictures that they've staged with other people's birds, making it look like it's their pictures and stuff like
Yeah.
that, right? And I don't just mean like taking a picture of the bird, but posing with the bird and stuff like that when you know it's not theirs. And so I like that realism of it, whether it be kind of the smaller guy or the bigger productions.
Yeah, and I don't pay for followers either.
but so then so I'm with you, Craig. Like I think there's a time and a place. Like if I want to watch a hunt, so if I want to watch somebody smashing, so remember the boys from Chase and Green, um, like
Yeah, Jake.
and, right, Jake, and the same with your videos, Brian. Like it's that YouTube or it's that GoPro camera where it's up
First
close and
person type stuff. Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Like it's up close and personal. You're seeing like you feel like you're part of the hunt. I like that when I want to just see the hunt. If I just all I want to do is just have a laugh at the boys playing grabby ass in the blind and somebody missing a shot and stuff like that. That's great, right? I love that. But then and I don't know the answer to this, but let's say I approach Tangle Free and I'm like, listen, I want to be part of the Tangle Free family. Does Tangle Free then look at my videos of the GoPro or the grainy pictures and go, hey, listen, we love your brand, but listen, you've got to up the production quality
Your
of what
Polaroid, it ain't cutting it.
that's what I mean, right?
But there's
So
also like there's value in variety.
okay.
So like the guy, so like for instance, um like you guys had the FA guy on.
Yeah, Mario.
Mario.
Yeah, friendly.
They sponsor those higher production channels, but then they also sponsor the first person channels, like
Right.
from High Prairie Sportsman, Josh from
Outdoor Limits.
Outdoor Limits. Like
Yep.
they're very close with them, and like there is that benefit and variety where like they could take a step back and look at how many people are watching their videos and also watching these higher quality TV show style episodes.
Yeah.
Like I think that there's benefit in that variety because then you're hitting a broader audience.
Yeah.
Because like for me, I'm the same way as you, Damien. Like that's why I like filming the way that I do, because I enjoy watching like a progression through a hunt, following one or two people and seeing their first person shots and seeing them hit the birds, as opposed to like a wide angle full frame camera behind a blind just watching birds drop out of a flock and not knowing who shot it, not knowing how many birds they've got. I enjoy watching it as well, but for me, I prefer the first person style videos because I like seeing the progression, and it kind of gets it kind of creates the brand for that one person.
Okay, so how about if I throw this out at you, what's your thoughts on this? And again, this isn't a slag, this isn't me pointing fingers or nothing. But if you are somewhat of an experienced bird hunter and have got some and you're getting a little long in the tooth, and you realize that every hunt isn't a fucking smasher, every hunt is a grind, and you get lucky, well, depending on your scouting and your flyway and all that shit. Yes, I get it. But if you would you agree that if you are more aware of how an actual hunt is, then you would appreciate the first person view as opposed to a 30-minute show of multiple angles with B-roll footage and stuff like that. Like
Yeah.
like would you say, listen, I enjoy watching, like I watch The Grind. I watch those shows. I enjoy those shows.
No, Bill puts on a good show.
He does,
Yeah.
right? And they do a great show, and they're very experienced at it, and they've been doing it for fucking ever. And it's a great show. But is it a fair statement to say that the majority of people that watch the 30-minute production of everything with the B-roll and multiple angles and all that shit, those people understand that that is not how an actual hunt plays out? Now, in Bill's case with the grind, like he'll I've heard him say it a million times. Well, we went here and the birds just didn't do it for us. So we had to pack up and go do something else, or come up with a different plan because it didn't work out for him, right? But I'm really stuck on this thing of, hey, listen, if you're gonna do video, you need to entertain people. And people need to be entertained if you want them to come back. If you don't care, if you're just throwing video out just to show off, and I don't mean show off as a bad word, but just to show the things that you're doing, then that's fine. But if you're trying to grow and get more followers and all of that stuff, um, does it have to be entertaining? And I think yes, it does. Now that I think about it,
100%. Like you kind of need to have, I guess, like that personality. I see
Yeah.
this, like
Yeah,
some
yeah,
of like
good
I
point.
follow a pile of channels.
Yeah.
And like some of the boys on there, like they are an absolute hoot to watch. Like the boys from Daybreak.
Yeah.
I think it's Eric. And watching Eric have like his meltdowns and tangents is hilarious.
Yeah.
On a complete and utter side note, John Malecki. John Malecki is a former Pittsburgh Steelers linebacker that does like a woodworking channel. And like they do like the resin epoxy pour tables and a bunch of
Yep.
other jazz.
Yep.
John is an entertainer. And I
Okay.
actually think recently he just crested like 1 million followers on his YouTube
Really,
channel.
eh?
You got like if you're into like woodworking and it's kind of like you got to watch John's channel, because not only is like he's an amazing woodworker, but he's an entertainer. Like he's a character, and I find that's part of the draw as well. Same with Jake from Chasing Green. Like
Mm-hmm.
Jake, like it's all like it's the one man show. Like yeah, he's got
Yeah.
his buddies that he hunts with and stuff, but still, Jake's the one man show, and some of the B roll and stuff like he adds in, like it's like I wouldn't say like comedic entertaining, but it draws you in and it keeps you in. Like listen to him like, yeah, like, we're doing this road trip, this and that, and I blew a tire, like whatever. Like I enjoy watching his channel, and like it's entertaining. Josh, or Jake, if you're watching, you need to make more videos.
Mhm.
That's what you need to do, because I like your channel. You need to make more videos. But yeah, like this, you got to have, I guess, was it that charismatic
Yep.
personality, so to speak.
Yep. Yeah, you got to be
Um,
able to. You got to be able to, like we talked earlier. You got to
like
be able to sell
y-
snow to an Eskimo, right?
ice to an
Yeah,
Eskimo.
same
Like
difference.
you could be like the world's greatest hunter,
Yeah.
but like if you can't, like, keep that crowd and draw that crowd and whatever, like, like what are you, right?
If
Like,
if
you
you
you got
had
to have that,
the
that
monotone voice and
yeah,
you
or I'm
really,
gonna
yeah,
fall asleep as
you
I
could,
talk to you and interview you, or yeah, like, no, that doesn't fly, so to speak.
yeah,
No
I
pun
think
intended.
everything, like, there has to be that entertainment value, but what is considered entertainment is pretty subjective too, right? So I think even something that may lean more towards the educational side, somebody's going to be entertained by that in some way, right? So it
right.
doesn't, to say entertainment value, it doesn't necessarily have to be that over the top personality.
Well, okay,
But
so here's one for you, and I know all three of you follow this, and because I do as well. So Jeff Coates, right? Jeff Coates will put out 1 million videos in a week, and they're like 20 seconds long. Because Jeff is a fucking a
An
big person.
icon.
Well, and he's a big personality, right? Like Jeff,
Yeah.
I'm gonna tell you, if
Well,
you've
he's got
never,
world's biggest duck boat.
yeah, if you've never met Jeff, you know when Jeff walks in a room. Like when Jeff walks in a room, it's not that he's arrogant or anything like that, but he commands attention. He's got a big voice. He's confident, and he's a good dude, right? And people tend to want to talk to him and bend his ear and stuff. But so when you're talking about entertainment being subjective, Craig, 100%, because Jeff Coates will do a 15-second video of opening up his Pit Boss grill and doing a cheers with a Crown Royal Black, and that's entertainment to people.
100,000 views.
100,000 views. Do you know what I mean? And again, because he's that personality, he because people want to, that saying he does, thinking of you we are, like that. It's an amazing saying to say. Like it is. He's the only person. I've never ever heard anybody say that.
The biggest thing I think with Jeff though is like he's running 365.
100%.
Like like
He's on the hustle every day.
he's shooting birds for 60 days,
Yep.
and he's rolling video when he's out in the boat, and like it's cool video, like watching these divers come in from miles
Absolutely.
out, and then watching guys miss them because the boat's doing one of
Of
these.
course.
But like
Yeah.
if he ain't shooting ducks, he's cutting cork,
Yep.
or he's running dogs.
Yeah. Or he's
And
doing maintenance
well,
around his house, or he's
and God bless his wife Karen. She's probably doing 2/3 of the filming, if not more.
right.
Like, obviously he does all the filming out in the boat,
Of
but you look
course.
at like a lot of the stuff in his shop, cutting decoys, or
Yeah.
him out like running dogs and stuff. Like he's obviously in front of the camera. So I can only suspect Karen, God bless her, absolute sweet woman, doing a lot of the camera work for Jeff.
But
Well, I think
again,
like somebody like
yeah, go
him,
Craig.
his stuff and his personality probably speaks to more people too, because he does have that big personality, but
Yeah.
not obnoxious or anything like you
No.
said, Damien.
Yeah.
And that, yeah, like he's out in that boat for 60 days, but then he's continuing all year. He's genuinely in, like, that's genuinely him,
Yeah.
and he's into it. Like he's working on decoys and that. It's not just the guys that show up during the hunting season, throw some pile pictures or videos up there,
Yeah.
and then you don't hear anything from them, right?
Like
So
because of
then,
Jeff, I want to go to Crabs to Go.
yeah. So then on the opposite spectrum, and
Ryan's pissing
again,
himself right now.
and on the opposite spectrum, Brian, you look at a guy like Sean Stahl. Sean isn't that great big loud personality, but yet Sean Stahl puts out a video, people are going to listen. People
Yeah.
want to know because they're entertained, because there's I've never met Sean other than doing the show or whatever. But Sean to me has a no bullshit type of work ethic. Hey, listen, we're here to do something. We do it right, and we don't cut corners, and we don't fuck around. You know what I mean? So you have Jeff who can, you know, clink 100,000 views, and I'm not taking anything away from that. I think it's fucking amazing, because he can do that. He can draw people in. But then you got a guy like Sean Stahl who can stand there and go, all right, so this is the system we use to flag geese, and that'll
Right.
get 100,000 views.
Yeah.
And it's not a thinking of you we are, or any of that, right? It's just an education piece, like going along with what you're saying, Craig. Like it's like,
Well, Sean's been around since like the hunting DVDs
well,
were
since
big.
Christ was hunting birds, right?
Well,
Well,
since
and like
since
going to
JC
what
was a
Craig
cowboy.
said too was like, people want to learn stuff, and you're talking about two people who are experts in what they do.
Mm-hmm. So I guess what I'm getting at is that there is no template, right? Like
No,
you've got to find your own character, your own niche, your own thing that you
right.
bring to the table. Like trying to, I think, if you want to be successful, and I did this in my career in the army. I had amazing leaders, and I had fucking horrible leaders, and I took from both of them. I'm not saying the boys are horrible,
Well,
but
in fairness with you, it's shoot fast or shoot last.
yeah, but
Like,
um,
just saying.
but like if this is something that you're into and you're trying to grow and stuff like that, I think it behooves you to look at the personalities that you enjoy, that you enjoy watching and listening to and all that stuff. And you've got to try and create your own character, picking little bits from each person that you enjoy to try and build your own. But you still, at the same time, you've got to be original,
Yeah, you gotta be different.
if that's possible. Do you know what I
That's
mean?
the thing too, is like, how many videos do you see of somebody standing behind, a boat blind or an A-frame or something in a field, just watching birds rain down? There's tons of those videos on,
Absolutely. I agree with you.
but which ones are you gonna watch? And it goes back to what Phil said, that it's somebody with a personality that you want to watch that makes it entertaining, or you find something that's different. If you see 5 videos of people shooting mallards in a cornfield, and then you see somebody stack up a pile of speckle bellies, you'll be like, oh, I'll watch them
Yeah.
shoot speckle bellies in a rice field.
Yeah.
Because I've just watched 45 videos of people shooting mallards in a cornfield, and I can't
Yeah.
watch any of that.
Yeah.
So it just depends on how
Well, there's something exotic about that, right?
right. Yeah.
Right? Because
I'm
yeah, go, Craig.
Like for me, it's
I was just
divers. Nobody really cares about divers, but then I thought, well, nobody else is doing it. I'll
Yeah.
try it. It's not that it's super glamorous, but it's just different.
It's
It's a
different.
very small group of people that are like,
Yeah.
I enjoy hunting Great Lake divers, and that's who that target audience is.
What were you going to say, Craig?
that was a perfect segue that I was going to take to just because that was one of the videos of yours I saw, was the shore hunting for divers on Lake Erie. And I was like, that's awesome. That's what I grew up doing, right? Like just sitting behind an old hockey net with some camo netting on it, shooting buffleheads all day just from shore, right? So yeah, so it's like there's those little niches that you can just search around
So to
and
our
find.
American friends, yes, we'll tie hockey into whatever the fuck we're doing.
Oh, yeah, because we
100%.
Yeah,
We will
why
tie
use something
hockey.
light when you can bring a full-size hockey net down the beach and sit behind it?
Why use something practical like a panel blind?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah. Um,
hockey
But-
nets were the original panel blind.
Tell that to Sean. He might have a different idea.
but no, but a good point, Craig. So and Brian, that is cool, because hey, listen, I'm not going to take away. It is sexy watching greenheads coming in the flooded corn, doing it dirty,
Yes, yes, it is.
right? It is sexy as hell.
Yeah.
But like you said, there's a lot of those videos around, right? And I'm not taking away from anybody that does that. That's amazing. And I love watching it. But if you want to grow, then you have to be different. And so for you to say, well, I'm gonna go to Pound Town on fucking
Fish nuts.
divers, because well, think about it. Think about a guy that's in fuck Louisiana. He's never ever experienced first off, he or she has never experienced the fucking cold like
Right.
it is on Lake Erie.
No.
Right? Like with that sideways slop
40
snow
degrees.
coming in. Yeah,
When you
right.
can take your waders off and they stand up on their own,
Yeah.
So
you don't know.
Yeah.
and it doesn't have to be that you've just watched a bunch of mallards being shot in flooded corn. It's something different. It's something exotic.
be
And
heated
where
tip line.
where they go, and like with Jeff Coates, like you watch Jeff. Like Jeff is feeding hot chowder out on the boat just to warm the fellas up
Yeah.
because it's fucking cold. You're out in the north. Well, in your case, you're on Lake Erie, but in Jeff's
Well,
case, he's up on the North Atlantic. It's cool.
Mid-Atlantic.
Yeah, he's
Mid.
he's close, buddy.
Actually, here, you keep talking. Let's have a gander. Check the
Yeah.
old WeberNet.
WeberNet.
Let's
you
I
do
mean,
it.
I've been
Let's do
over
like
there
an imaginary
on
line.
that
While you're
ocean.
searching for that, Phil, I'm looking for a
He's
picture
cold
of
and
waiter
stuff.
standing up.
What was that, Brian?
I said when I went out to the coast to hunt sea ducks, north of where Jeff is.
Mm-hmm.
It's cold. I was in November. It's cold and it sucks.
Yeah.
Like it's just as bad as stuff that we deal with here.
Oh, 100%. So
It's-
now you think about someone that's spent their entire waterfowl hunting career in Corpus Christi, Texas,
Right.
right? This is a totally new ball game. What? You've got you set your decoys up like this? like a long line, like dude, the
Now,
first time I was with fellas and long lines, like I was just like, geez, what a mess this is gonna be. But then if
your
you're with
ducks are all in a row.
you know what?
Literally.
Literally, but again, right? Like if you haven't expected, and to what you said earlier, Brian, like if it's specklebellies or greenheads, well then you're probably going to go watch specklebellies because you're not smashing specklebellies all the time. So you want to see something different.
Yeah. And I think that's the
Variety is the
entertainment
spice of life.
value is trying to find something different to pull people in to watch.
Yeah. And to go with Craig's thing, so now this is a reminder of what it was like when you were growing up, when you were just learning to hunt, when you were hunting on Lake Erie, Craig, as a kid.
When I could actually shoot birds.
When you
They'll
were
call you triple threat for nothing.
Yeah, like when like you and Brian, so both of yous cutting your teeth on Lake Erie, you on the north side and Brian on the south side. Like, do you guys have like gang signs for that shit?
Yeah, but we can't show you.
Oh,
Yeah.
right. But no,
I'd show you, but I'd have to kill you.
but again, right? Like it's something different, or it's something that reminds you of something that you're not seeing all the time. So, Brian, in your case, you're bringing something to the waterfowling world of North America that not a lot of people get to experience, because unless you're Ohio, Illinois, Michigan, New York, am I missing something? Ontario,
Pennsylvania,
And-
sliver.
yeah, but I'm talking Great Lakes divers, right?
And Pennsylvania touches
Pens-
Lake Erie there, sweetheart.
Oh, does it? I don't know. I've got a job to
Very
go
small
Canadian,
sliver, right?
Yeah,
Right?
straight across
Bill
from where I grew
touches
up is
it.
Pennsylvania.
but
Wisconsin.
Wisconsin. So that is a small, when you look at the size of North America and the amount of birds that we're chasing and the amount of people that's out there doing it, it is a small percentage of fellas that's putting in the time on diver hunting.
Actually, in fairness, they smash redheads in Texas. Smash reds.
Right. And I'm not saying that they don't shoot them, but they
That's
don't
just like that's just like an anomaly, though.
but they don't live that diver way
No,
of
they
life of
haven't been
sitting
out
in a
like minus.
UFO out sitting in a UFO, and then you've got to have a tender boat. And, like, that's just a totally different
Yeah,
setup,
and you
right?
just pray you don't die that day,
Right?
and then you go back and do it again tomorrow.
Yeah.
Well,
And
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 it's
then
like there's an older episode. So R&T has a podcast, and there was one that um they were talking about coming up and hunting with Sean on, I think it was Lake Huron, out of a layout boat.
yeah,
And John Stevens was talking about, like, he got in that boat and he's like, I thought I was gonna die.
right.
And that's somebody who is, a world
D-
champion duck caller,
Yeah.
Yeah.
humongous,
Yeah,
influence
he's
in the
shot way
sport.
more birds than we can ever
And he
think
goes
about.
into a layout boat and he's like, this is way out of my realm. This is the scariest shit I've ever been a part of.
This
And
is how I'm going to die in a
Yeah.
little rubber dinghy.
Well,
right. Yeah,
well,
and it's like,
here's
that's a
one
lot of
for
people that come here. There's a lot. I mean, I have friends that guide all up and down the coast, and they have people that come here, and they'll talk about, oh yeah, I really want to go try layout hunting. And as soon as they see that boat laying there in the water, they're like, I'm not doing it.
I'm not
I've
getting
done
in
it a
that
couple
fucking boat.
times with my buddy Dom, and yeah, like it's an experience.
It is an
Yeah.
experience. And
Yeah.
Craig, I know you go down with you and Carrie go down with I forget his name off the top of my
Troy.
head. Troy, yeah. I know you go down with him, but here's something for anybody that's never experienced hunting out of a pumpkin seed or a UFO or anything. Go sit in that thing for 6 or 7 hours, then come ashore and go have a nap. And you tell me how you're sleeping and you wake because you feel like you're still in the boat and the waves are rocking you back
I'm
and
sober, but everything's moving.
forth. Right?
Well, and it's
Yeah.
even
When you're
like, for
done, you might
me-
as well just start drinking, just so you want any idea.
Yeah.
Keep the wobble alive.
Yeah.
for me, like all
Or
the
it
years
might
I
offset
spent,
itself. You never know.
Go for
all
it,
the
Craig.
Lake Erie hunting that I did, like still never done a layout boat, and
No.
I can't picture myself doing it.
Oh,
We always just hunted offshore, and that's
Yeah.
why your video caught my attention. Other than that, like the only big water hunting I've done has either been with Troy in his giant boat,
Yeah.
or with Phil a couple of times in his boat, and that
Right.
was I guess Bay of Quinte and then Lake Ontario or
Well,
Lake Erie.
I'm telling you, like, if you want up close and personal, layout boat's the way to do it. And if
Oh,
you
it's a hoot.
and if you think you're a good shot, go fucking well. First off, divers are all wearing Kevlar. I'm convinced of it. But then try to you've got so much on the go. You're trying to lead the bird. You're trying to take into account the swell that the water is doing, and all at the same time. You're trying not to lose your gun overboard. Making
And your
sure you're
cookies.
making sure you're making a safe shot and you're not shooting towards the tender boat or towards anybody else that could be close. Like, it is a different ball game, 100%. I'm not a huge experience with it, but I've done it. But when they work for you, oh boy, when they come down that long line, oh, it is.
I mean, I've been doing it 8 years now, and I remember, like, that first year that I started doing it, it was just like, I mean, I was hooked instantly just because of that action, like them coming
Right.
right in your face. But it is a huge learning curve,
Oh, yeah.
and it's super expensive. So if you don't already have a boat, then you need to buy a big enough boat to handle it. Then you
Yeah.
have to buy the layout boat. Then you have to buy enough decoys to make long lines out of them,
Yeah.
and it adds up.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. As if waterfowl hunting wasn't expensive as it is. Now you're going into a totally different pursuit that
Yeah.
you've got to start right from the bottom and work your way up again. All right.
Right.
Okay. We are getting real close to the hour mark, and we still got a couple things that we got to get in.
Just keep going. I got a whole bottle of whiskey here.
Well, we can keep going. And I'm okay
We
with
can.
it.
I can't.
Oh, you can't? Why? What are you, Grey's Anatomy?
Well, but
Oh.
apparently I'm going to the neighbors to watch a
Oh.
hockey game, and I got to get up at like 3:30
Oh,
tomorrow.
right, you're going hunting tomorrow. Okay,
Yeah.
so first off, um,
We can
too
just have
many
Brian
ho-
on again.
too many hobbies.
Always happy to come back.
I know you are. Too many hobbies, because I do want to get some attention to too many hobbies, and I try my best to send as much to you, Brian. I really do.
Which I
But
appreciate. Thank you.
But I guess what I'm trying to do is that, and I don't know this gear review world, right? I don't know if it's tainted, or because some people, you know what I mean? There's always skeptics out there.
Oh yeah.
But with you, because I know that I'm getting an honest to God review. And that's when I said, like, when I tell people, I'm like, hey, I'm going to introduce you to my friend Brian. You may not like what Brian says, because it's going to be fucking honest. He's
Right.
not going to tell you that you have an awesome product if he's not going to fucking use the product.
Right.
Right. And I'm confident with you that I can send people to you, because I know, well, Brian's going to fucking say it how it is. He may not air the video because it was a piece of dog shit. But seriously, right? Like, you're not gonna post a video where you're cutting up a product, but you will let the
Right.
fella know, hey, listen, no, it's not gonna work. I didn't enjoy it. It's not gonna work for me. Here were my issues, that sort of thing.
Right.
Um, and then, you talk about Craig. He brought up you brought up the video of Lake Erie hunting. So, too many hobbies, I think, and Brian, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but you know, you have a real job, you have a family. Now, you got into this photography, videography world where you started doing weddings and stuff, and you turned that into a side gig, which is now rolled into, well, I'm gonna do my hunts and stuff, which now is rolled into gear review, and I say most importantly, but you can correct me if I'm wrong, whatever. But now that's rolled into a gig with Tangle Free.
Right.
Like, too many hobbies is, fuck, it's grown, and you're not filthy rich or nothing like that, but it's giving you some great opportunities because of the quality that you're doing and the honesty that you provide. Is that a
Yeah, I
fair
mean, like, if
statement?
you look at it, I'm at 2,500 subscribers or whatever, but the channel
Bullshit.
almost has a million views all across all the videos.
Wow.
So it's like they're getting out there and it's reaching people to the point where, like, I probably have more companies that will reach out to me that I don't feel like working with than the ones that I do.
Right.
Sometimes it'll be just like, I've never heard of this company. Let's just see what they want me to do.
Right.
And it's hard for me to, tell these people, like, pay me a bunch of money. But if they send me something, it's like it gives me a reason to make a video. It gives
Yep.
me content. So it's like it helps me, regardless.
Mm-hmm.
And so, like, I've worked with Tide We now 5 or 6 different times, and like
Yep.
people shit on their stuff because it's cheap, but it's like I've been using it for 2 years now. It's all
I
nice.
I have yet to hear one person complain about Tide We waders.
And it's
Have
crazy.
you, Craig?
No, not waders. The only complaint I have, the blinds are not bear proof. You guys saw my pictures?
They
Yes.
actually
I did
they
see
make,
the one picture, yeah. But at
they
least it's
make
standing.
they
Yeah.
make turkey vests as well, apparently.
Yeah,
But
they make one with like a built-in seat.
but
Yeah.
the Tide We waders. So hey, listen, we talked about it with Ben Marlowe last week, right? When you're growing up and you've got to, I'm 47 years old, so when I had to go buy a pair of waders, if I had to drop $200 on a set of waders, like,
Yeah.
that was a huge investment.
Yeah.
$200 for waders, a
Oh, yeah.
huge investment. Now you're looking at waders, the fucking
$1,000. Yeah.
$1,000,
Yeah.
and that's 4 or 5 wader brands that's out there right now. $1,000 is starting. So now waterfowl hunting is already as expensive as hell.
Right.
But if you can get a quality product, i.e. Tide Weave, because,
Yeah.
and again, I have no affiliation with them, and I know a ton of dudes that are wearing them, and
Yeah.
I've yet to hear anybody complain about those fucking waders.
Oh, they're great. And it's like that's kind of been cool with all of this, with brands that want me to make videos for them and stuff like that, is it helps me get a little bit of exposure because then they'll share those videos
Right,
and they all have way more reach than I do.
right,
So
right, right,
it
right.
helps both of us. Like if somebody wants me to do a review, I will and make a video, and then like I did one recently with the company called Super Clean. They watched my videos. The vice president sent me an email and he's like, I saw your videos and you've got a lot of gear. I think that my products could help you. He's like, if you
Wow,
want to put some of it in a video, you can, but you don't have to. I'm just going to send it over. I didn't have
wow,
anything to make a video on because we haven't been able to get on the lake much lately. I was hoping to start fishing in February and I didn't get my boat on the water until April. And so it was like I had some time that I was like, I took some time off after goose season. And I was like, well, I've got these couple brands that want me to make a video for them. And I'm like, I'll just throw this one in with it. And I did one of cleaning my boat. They liked it so much that they're like, we want to do a giveaway if you would want to do it on your channel. And I'm like,
sweet.
sure. So it's like, it's just going to be something fun. It's not,
Yeah,
it's
but
2 bottles of cleaning solution, but it's like, it helps build some hype, if
so
people want to get in on it.
your mentality towards this, so I guess I'm going to ask what, so for your mentality on this, so let's say the cleaning company, right? They reach out to you, they say, hey, here's this thing, make a video for it. They love it, and then they start showing it on their social media, their YouTube channel, their fucking whatever, right?
Yeah.
They're putting it out there. That just as good? Obviously, cash is king, but
Yeah.
is that just as good as cash when it comes to, well, hey, listen, I'm going to get now 100,000 views from this company that I would never have got because those people would never have come and looked at me, and now they're checking out all the other things I done. So
Yeah.
so say Tidewee. So Tidewee is not just for hunters, right? Like if you're a fly fisherman, if you're a fuck whatever, you can
Yeah.
buy
They
the
got other
waders,
stuff. Yeah. Yeah.
right? You know what I mean? So is that the trickle down effect, I guess, of doing stuff for these people because hey, listen, they're not going to give you a pile of money, but once they share it and it's quality and people like it, well, now they're coming back and now there's more companies that's coming at you. So it's a backdoor way of growing, if that makes
Yeah.
sense.
I'd say, I think that obviously cash would be great if they were like, hey,
Yes.
we'll pay you $500 to make a video. But I don't have that size of a chance. So I think for me, it's fair.
Right.
I'm
Okay.
not going to say that it's, better or worse. It's just it's
It's
fair
fair.
for both of us.
Okay. And that's fair,
And like, if
for
and
lack of a better word.
yeah, I mean, it's just it helps me, it helps them, and then if it continues to grow and it gets to a point where it's like, well, no, I'm not. Then I can kind of make that distinction at some point and say,
Okay.
I'd rather take cash to do this thing or whatever the case may be, sponsorship, whatever it is. But right now, I just think that for both of us, it's fair.
Okay.
And
All right. Yeah,
for
go,
somebody
Craig.
watching it too, it's just nice to know that it's like, okay, like if you're doing these reviews, you're not necessarily monetarily tied to these guys too, right?
That too,
Or
yeah.
or if
Like,
or if then
Makes
you
life
are,
simpler.
it's because you've taken the time and it's like, yeah, I like their products and I'm only financially tied to these guys because I can vouch for them.
because I chose to. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. That's also true.
Which is a great lead into Tangle Free, right?
Yeah.
Because now you've got some news regarding this upcoming year with Tangle Free.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's, more, I guess, for you guys because you guys have kind of been involved since I
Yep.
started with them. But
Yep.
so this past season, I submitted enough photos that they bought all of my photos. And
Amazing.
and they offered me an opportunity to start doing like pre-product release stuff. So
Oh, cool.
so yeah, so
Awesome.
there'll be products that aren't released. They'll send to me to get like photos and video and stuff like that for them to use to do big releases on new products. So
That's
I'm
awesome.
excited about that. I'll be
Congrats.
working with Eric Massey pretty
I was
close on
just going to
that. Yeah.
I was just going to say. I was
Yeah,
just going
so
to bring up Eric's name. And
yeah, we'll have that, and then yeah, I mean, I think that there's some other stuff it sounds like that they want to talk to me about, but that's the main one right now. So
that's awesome, buddy. Congratulations.
growing,
And
yeah, it's
it's
growing
growing and
tangle
it's
free, and like I've told you guys before, like ever since I started using their products, I've just been hooked on that entire brand. And
right.
so it's like now getting the chance to do this stuff for them is just it blows my mind, but I'm busting my ass to make sure that
Of
they don't
course.
kick me off the team.
Well, and that's the important thing, right? Like for anybody that don't know, and we've talked about it on this show, Phil. I know you've brought it up a million times, but um, it is not an easy gig to be doing this because you're answering to a brand that their margins are already small on
Right.
their profit, and when they're asking you to do stuff, they want to get their money's worth because they don't have a ton of money to be throwing around, right? So
Yeah.
good for you, buddy, and it really is, and I'm glad to see that it's working out. And
You.
I just got to get Eric Massey back on this show because he's a hell of a dude, and he's
Oh, yeah.
funny as hell, but he's a busy man too. Um, Last point, and Phil, you may have some knowledge on this, because I've started to look into it. So I believe it is as of 01 August of 2024, there is going to be some serious restrictions on traveling into the United States from Canada with a dog.
It's not as bad as it seems.
Is that right? Okay. So,
No, like literally, there's like an online form that's got to be filled out, and memory serves me correctly, that has to be done within 7 to 10 days
yep,
before travel.
yep,
Dogs got to be over. Now, this is going into the States.
yes.
Dogs got to be over the age of 6 months, not an issue.
Got to be
Clean bill of health,
microchip.
like chipped, like for all the boys like running the games and stuff, like this is not applicable.
Right.
Like
So,
like all the guys that are running dogs like HRC, CKC, hunt test, field trials, all these dogs are chipped. Um,
right. But
I'm
the
pretty sure
fellas,
both my dogs are double chipped, US
well,
chipped, Canadian chipped.
so
Like
my concern is, so I did not know this, and fuck, maybe we need to end the show and carry this on because this is going to go down. But I did not know that um AKC, CKC, UKC all have different chips. So unless you have a wand that can pick up all three chips, or say if I cross over into New York and the border guard in New York has a fucking wand that's going to be able to pick up the CKC
it's
chip
not so much
now,
their chips.
right? But now also with that, Phil, is that the chip goes in at the fucking neck.
Yeah.
Landers has migrated almost down to her elbow.
Yeah, like they'll wand the whole fucking dog. Like
Okay. Yeah. I'm
it's,
just
it's it's not like you're searching for a rice grain on an elephant. Like
okay.
yeah, like they'll wander around, like they'll find it.
Rice grain on an elephant. That's
Yeah,
That was good.
beautiful, Phil. Beautiful.
yeah. Like both Thor and Zeus, they were pre-chipped.
Yeah.
From the States with whatever company did their chipping.
Yeah.
But that chip info was plugged into the AKC. It wasn't an AKC chip,
Right.
but they had the chip info.
So,
And then I
but
had
what
both dogs re-chipped up here in Canada.
so something that I want people, if you've managed to stick around long enough on this episode, and we'll bring it up again on the next one, but this is something that maybe Sean, because it doesn't matter if the dog is an American dog and you come into Canada and then you got to come back into America. it's still the same fucking procedure. Like it
Oh,
is. Oh
yeah.
yeah.
Yeah,
Like it is.
it's
They
an
are
online
being.
form and it's free.
It's free and all that stuff. But so when I talked to the border guards in New York a couple weeks ago, when I brought it up to them, at that time, well, like he said, he was like, we've heard about it, but no policy has been sent down to us on what, at the ground level, the border guards have to do. But he said, like, it is sounding like it could be a big deal, but the way it is and Craig, the way it is, with government sends down policy, and then when the worker bees have to do it, well, sometimes the policy, it just can't be executed, right? So, but I'm telling you, for anybody that is thinking, and that's on both sides of the border, American or Canadian, if you are looking to bring a dog back into America, there is a process starting the 1st of August, and it could, depending on the gird and depending on the crossing site, it could fucking really put a damper on your hunt or your return home.
Yeah,
Just
so then
something to
Phil,
think
if you were
about.
going to return, like if you were coming into Canada for 3 days and then, just to hunt, then would you have to fill that form out like two
Yeah,
weeks at a time?
yeah,
Okay.
yeah. That's what I'm understanding right now. Now that could all change by the time
So weird.
it is, right? But the biggest thing, I think, the catalyst to this is rabies. I think that's the catalyst, is that they don't want rabies coming into America. Fair. But it is not going to be, I don't think it's going to be an easy process. But anyways, that's something to think about. We will discuss this more on the next episode. Boys, let's do a quick around the table, because I know Philly's got to go to entertain his neighbors. But we're probably going to stick around and drink and tell lies after Philly leaves. So, Philly, to you.
Brian, as always, it's a pleasure, and I try to keep up with your odd pokes and jabs there on me on the Webernet and stuff. God bless you, got a good heart. But yeah, keep up the great content, man. And like I said, we always look forward to seeing your stuff, and like you're doing a good job, and all the best on your future endeavors with Tangle Free. Like they're an amazing company. They put out a lot of great products. I'm a proud owner of a pile of their products, and wish you all the best in that future relationship.
Appreciate it, Phil. Thank you.
Yeah, buddy.
Craig?
Brian, it's good to finally meet you and talk with you. And one thing I want to say is one thing that always speaks to me is people who you can see they've got that genuine personality, and so it's cool to see the stuff that you're getting kind of tied into now, and seeing that, yeah, like with your reviews and companies bringing you on, knowing that they're doing so because of that sort of personality that you have. And just one other thing I wanted to say quick. I just wanted to say thanks, Damien, for just bringing up that I did lose my mom.
Oh,
Geez, almost 2 weeks ago now.
I know.
And I wanted to say thanks to everybody who's reached out, because a ton of people reached out, including people I don't know. So who knows how they heard, but I'm sure some heard on here.
You're part
Uh,
of the fan club now, Craig.
what's that?
You're part of the fan club.
Yeah. And the main reason I bring that up, because the last time I talked to my mom, which was actually, we did get to see her on Mother's Day weekend. Um, Surprisingly enough, she was talking about watching the show. Her and my dad were watching YouTube videos,
No
and
way.
I didn't even realize that they did. And one thing, if people ever notice, I don't swear a lot on here. No, in everyday life, I swear a lot, just like anybody
Yeah.
else. But my mom absolutely hated the word fuck. You could say anything else, but do not use the F word around my mom.
Is that
And
right?
so I was surprised to hear that she watched the show. She watched when I originally came on to talk about our hunting, my
Yeah.
family hunting trip a couple years ago.
Yeah.
But that they had been watching it. So now that she's gone, I may swear a little bit more. But yeah, if anybody ever noticed that I don't swear a
Maybe.
lot, it's because of that. And even, yeah, if I'm at a restaurant or something, that's just something that's carried over from my mom. If I'm in a restaurant or whatever and there's other people around, I don't tend to swear a lot. But
Maybe
now
it's
that I know
time for me to.
she's not watching anymore, maybe there'll be a few more F-bombs in the future. But
Well, maybe it's time
Send her to Jesus, Craig.
maybe it's
Give
time
her.
to cut back the F bombs.
yeah, but no, I just wanted to say thanks to everybody.
No, absolutely, buddy. Like
I'm
I
sorry to
said,
hear that, Craig.
yeah, and I know it was a shock too, right? We don't need to get into it,
Yeah.
but it was a shock. Fuck, you were there's the F-bomb.
Enjoy it.
You had to turn that on very fast and from hey, I just got word to drive in a couple hours to get down to be with the family. So 100%, buddy, we're all behind you. So I'm glad you guys got everything squared away and you gave your mom the proper send off that she needed. Now try and beat that, Brian.
I appreciate it, guys. It's always a good time coming on here. And Craig, it was nice to meet you finally as well. Been listening since you came on here, and it's yeah, I listen to the show every week.
I know you
Always
do,
fun
buddy.
to come on here and talk with you guys. So I appreciate it.
Awesome. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the Union 0430 podcast. We are not experts. We'll never pretend to be. Just a bunch of people that love talking about bird hunting and whatever rabbit holes that send us down. Big love. Surround yourself with good people and see you next week.